The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here. Right now. In the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow. I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, David received the news of Saul and Jonathan's death. He prayed, he asked God for guidance as to what to do next. And the Lord instructed David to go to a town in Judah called Hebron. Upon arrival, the people of Judah crowned David as king of the house of Judah, whereas the rest of the people of Israel remained loyal to the house of Saul, and they recognized his son Ishbosheth as king. One day, the troops of Ishbosheth, led by Abner, and the troops of David, which were led by Joab, fought. Joab and his men won, but Joab's overzealous little brother, Asael, wasn't done. He still had some fight in him. So he went after Abner, thinking that he was going to really be instrumental in uniting the kingdoms of Israel and Judah under the rulership of David. Unfortunately for Asael, he picked on the much more seasoned and experienced warrior Abner and ended up sealing his fate. As a result of Asael's death, bitterness really began to settle and fester in the heart of Joab. Nevertheless, the favor of the Lord continued to be with David, and he grew stronger and stronger. While ruling over the people of Judah, David expanded his wife collection. And he ended up having a son by each of his 6 wives. In other news, Ishbosheth just decided one morning he was going to wake up and try the wrong one. Ishbosheth actually formed his lips to accuse Abner of hooking up with one of Saul's side chicks. And by doing so, what he did was he inadvertently accused Abner of being a traitor and making a power play to take over the kingdom of Israel. Because essentially, for Abner to lay with someone that Saul laid with was to say, yo, if I can have your woman, I can have your throne too. That's pretty much what that would be saying. When Abner got news of what Ish was saying, he was livid. Yo, are you serious right now? After all I've done for your pops, let alone all I've done for you, I could have handed you over to David and Joab a long time ago. I stood by you, man. Now you gonna sit here and disrespect me over some female? I imagine that Ish just sat there. He just had to take it. He shrank in the shadow of Abner's rage as he continued to chew him out. Man, I've dedicated years of my life to protecting your pop's dynasty, but you know what? I'm out. I'm done with you. You sitting there with your chest all puffed out like you put yourself on that throne. Keep that same energy when you see me on the other side. The Lord promised Israel to David, and you better believe I'm going to make sure he gets it. Ishbosheth was shooketh. He dared not open his mouth and say another thing to further upset Abner. Abner was dead serious, and he wasted no time reaching out to David and offering to make a pact. David was open to having Abner as an ally, but under one condition, and that was under the condition that Abner bring back David's long-lost wife, the daughter of Saul. Not sure if you recall, but as a reward for defeating the giant Goliath of Gath, David was given Saul's daughter to be his wife. But when Saul realized that his daughter helped David escape him, she made up some story saying that David threatened her life and that's why she helped him. So Saul ended up giving her away to some other man. Now David is demanding that he get his wife back. Now I don't know why David wanted his wife back. I don't know if it was love, if it was a power play, if it was a political strategy, but no matter what David's motive was, he wanted his wife back, and Abner stripped her from her new husband and returned her to David. Abner got right to work. He started talking to movers and shakers of Israel, campaigning on behalf of David. And as I mentioned before, Abner was pretty influential with the people. He knew how to work the people. He knew how to talk to the people. He had a really good rapport and connection with them. After Abner completed his political campaign circuit, He returned to David and let him know that the next move would be to call an assembly, gathering all of Israel to officially make David their king. David was like, bet, and sent Abner on his way to get the assembly together. Things were seamlessly working together for David. All of the pieces were falling into place. That is, until Joab and his men made it back from a raid, and Joab heard that Abner was there on his turf. That was an issue. Because remember, Joab has mad beef with Abner because Abner offed his brother. Joab went and confronted David because this man is cut from a different kind of cloth. Tell me the rumors aren't true, man. Word is that you partnered up with Abner. What did you do? Don't you know this man is an op? If he's here, he's playing you, man. He ain't up to no good. Joab, he was hot like fire. He sent some of his men to go catch up with Abner to bring him back. And he told his men, yo, keep it on the hush because I don't want the king knowing about this. Abner turned around, he made it back, and Joab pulled him to the side. He's like, yo, man, come on over here. Let me holler at you for a second. I imagine that the nervousness didn't even fully have time to unpack before Joab pulled out a knife and shanked Abner right in the stomach. Joab looked Abner square in his eyes. He didn't even have to say anything. It was understood. This is for my brother. Joab and his other brother Abishai finished Abner off. And it was of no consequence to them that the very thing that their brother Asael died for, which was the unification of the kingdom, was now at risk as a result of their bitterness. When David heard what happened to Abner at the hands of his nephews, he was crushed. He cursed Joab. He cursed his children, his children's children, and his children's children's children. David was mad. Like, I cannot believe the savagery. David mourned the death of Abner sincerely. He fasted. He honored him at the funeral. He made sure they had all the fried chicken and funeral corn that they needed. He made it very clear that he had nothing to do with Abner's untimely death. The people of Judah and Israel peeped how torn David was. And it was very clear to them that Abner's assassination had nothing to do with David and that David had nothing to do with his assassination. In the end, all the people had mad respect for David and it didn't end up backfiring on him. So while all of this is playing out, Ishbosheth, Saul's son, lost all courage. He was good at bumping his gums, but he had no knowledge about how to actually be a king. And without Abner, his muscle and his brains behind the operation, he was scared. He chickened out. He didn't know what to do. He lost all courage. One day, because again, he didn't know how to be a king, so he just decided, I might as well just go to sleep, take a nap. So Ishbosheth, middle of the afternoon, laid down for a little nappy nap. Unfortunately for him, though, the woman who was supposed to be guarding the door also decided to catch a few Z's, making it real easy for these two guys to slip past her and make sure that Ishbosheth never woke up again. These dudes excitedly took Ish's head to King David, announcing his demise. Look how good God is. Today, he's giving you revenge over this guy. I imagine David just kind of hung his head and muttered to himself, what's wrong with these people? This is not the first time that someone took news to David thinking that they were doing him a favor, and it did not end well for them. David's looking these guys upside their heads. He said, so let me get this straight. You chopped an innocent man's head in his home while he's taking a nap, and I should be impressed? David's men, they already knew what time it was. They took the guys out. They offed them. So now in the wake of all of Abner's campaigning, the people's love for David, the death of Ish, and the favor of God, all of the tribes of Israel gathered together and they all anointed David to be king of Israel. Israel in its entirety. David, a shepherd boy from around the way, basic. He didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He grew up with a sling on his hip and a staff in his hand. He was isolated in a field, valedictorian of his class in the school of hard knocks. He had one job, take care of the sheep. at all cost, even at the expense of fighting wolves, lions, and any other predator with a growling stomach for some fresh sheep. I imagine David in the quiet of the night under a blanket of glistening stars, grabbing his harp and singing unto the Lord, the very one who gave him strength to fight against the lurking predators. David didn't aspire to be the leader of God's chosen people. He was just minding his business, unaware that as he led sheep from pasture to pasture, God was developing the king inside of him. His boldness to go up against the giant Goliath of Gath was developed in the field. David's selflessness and care for the needs of the people, that was developed in the field. His attentiveness to the voice of the Lord was developed in the field. One of David's most popular psalms, because this man was a songwriter, he was a poet. One of his most popular psalms, Psalm 23, said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." He said, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." That psalm, that reality, that revelation was developed in the field. Sometimes we pray, "Lord, use me. Use me to do your will." There are so many people who are weary and on the brink of giving up, convinced that God isn't listening. But what if, just what if God is developing you right now where you are, and he's trying to give you revelation about him that you will need in the place that he's going to take you? Stop trying to rush to the throne and bypass the field and let the Lord develop you. Do you know why Ishbosheth lost courage without Abner by his side? Because Ish wasn't developed. His neck wasn't even strong enough to carry the weight of the crown. He got the role. He had the job, but he lacked the skills to keep it and to sustain it. I get it. We want to get there. We want to get to a place where we feel like we have a sense of purpose and usefulness. We want to serve the Lord. We want to feel like we're serving the Lord with our lives. But sometimes the Lord wants us to serve him by serving the sheep first. What do I mean by that? Serving the Lord is not always going to look like being front and center in a spotlight behind a mic. It's not always going to look like glitz and glam. It's not always going to look like a role where you have popularity or clout or follows or a congregation of people who are following you. Sometimes those sheep are stewarding the children in the room right next to you. Sometimes it's being faithful with the responsibility in front of you at work. Sometimes it's the person at the checkout lane or the person across from you at the gas station. I don't know. I don't know what your field looks like. I don't know what your throne looks like. But all I'm saying is wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, God is there too. If you know that there is somewhere that you are on your way and you sense that there is a delay, instead of praying a moment away, try praying that God will continue to develop you where you are. Because you never know, it just might serve you and serving him for where he's taking you. I thank you so much for listening. I thank you for your encouragement, for your words, for your likes, your follows, your subscription. All of the people who have shown me love and support over the year, I am so very grateful for you. I value you so much. You'll never fully know how much I appreciate you. I look forward to our next episode if the Lord blesses me to record another one. But until then, bye for now.